She now went and checked my file. She now said, sorry, we did not see any result of any blood work done in the past 1 week, so we can't give you epidural. I said, eh? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Gloria if this is the first time on the channel, and if you're a returning subscriber, hey, what's good fam? My baby is 3 months old today, okay? Big 3. We made it this far. Glory to Jesus. My baby is happy, she's healthy, she's hale, she's hearty, and this video is actually about her, okay? Because after I uploaded the birth vlog, I told you guys I was gonna bring you the tea, I was gonna bring you all the juice, I was gonna bring you the deets of how everything happened, okay? That vlog, for me to even put that vlog together, you guys need to applaud me, because if you guys knew what happened, I'm gonna be talking about my birth story, like my delivery experience, how it happened to me as the first-hand person who was in the center of this whole experience. If that's something you're interested in knowing about, then definitely keep on watching. Do not forget to like this video, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel if this is your first time coming across this beautiful face, okay, you guys. Where do I start? Sweet Holy Spirit, help me to tell this story the way I should. So it started on the 16th of September. On the 16th of September, we came into the hospital fully to get admitted. I was supposed to get induced to give birth, so we came into the hospital on the 16th. Now, when we got to the hospital, actually we were supposed to be in the hospital on the 15th, okay, of September, but because of COVID-19 protocols, my husband and I, because we're going to get admitted in the hospital, you have to have a 24-hour coronavirus test, so to make sure, you know, to avoid bringing a coronavirus positive person into the hospital, we had to do a coronavirus test. We had to wait for the result. The result takes 24 hours, okay? The result will come out the next day if you do it today. So after the result came out on 16th, we now went to the hospital, picked our result, and then moved to the ward, the giving birth area, to get admitted. So we got there after all the hula baloo. We admitted us into the hospital, okay? So you guys, before we eventually got a room, okay, the hospital was full. Like the area where they are giving birth, there was no space, there was no chance, there was no vacancy, okay? So they said there was no available bed. We had to wait, okay, for space to come out. And this thing I'm telling you, the rooms, okay, there are beds in the room. Some rooms have 2 beds, some rooms have 3 beds, but because people are so much, they actually have overflow, and some beds are in the corridor, okay, like the corridor of the hospital. So some pregnant women, they just lie down on the bed in the corridor. So when I came, they told me, okay, we don't have much space, but there are some spaces available in the corridor. And I'm just like I'm just gonna lie down on the corridor, and everybody passing by is going to get to see me. I mean, for them it might not be a big deal because it's Chinese, nobody interested in looking at you. But imagine a foreigner just lying down there in the corridor. Everybody will literally look at me when they pass by, and I wasn't ready for that kind of attention. I wasn't up for that. So I just told them no, I would wait till there is a space inside one of the rooms, then I'll come back. So they told me, okay, you can go and have lunch and come back in the next how many hours. There might be an available space. So we eventually went back, and got so kind, there was space. So they now sent us to in fact, the room we went into, the people that were there just left. Okay, so we now went into that place and we took that space. By the time we finished everything and, you know, got to our room, it was in the evening. It was already around 4 p.m. Okay, so after a few minutes that we were in the room, the doctor came, and then she just got my information. She asked me my name, the circumstances of my pregnancy. She asked me for my booklet, the booklet that you normally take to the hospital, where they jot down everything that's going on in your pregnancy. She just took down my information, and then that was it. So she told me that she's gonna give me some time to relax, and then she will call for me. So she would check my cervix to know if my cervix had ripened, because Now this is something, you guys, this is something that I used to make a mistake with, and I know a lot of people actually also used to make a mistake about this thing. Dilating, okay, is different from cervical ripening. Your cervix has to ripen first before you even talk about dilating. So me, I was even thinking, I was just even praying, hey God, let me be dilating, let me be. It's different. You have to, your cervix has to first of all ripen, efface, and thin out before it starts dilating, like opening up. So she said she's going to check me if my cervix was ripe and effaced. I didn't really understand her because she was speaking everything in Chinese, okay. I learned a lot of new Chinese medicine vocabularies during my stay in the hospital. After a few minutes, she came for me and I followed her to the examination room, and that was where my ordeal began. Now, I just want to put it out there, because I feel like a lot of awareness is not given to this thing, okay. People don't give enough awareness to cervical examination, like in your pregnancy journey, okay. People don't really talk about cervical examination and just how terrible it is. Yes, people stress on labor, contractions, giving birth, pushing the baby, pulling after birth, all that stuff, but I was not prepared for cervical examination. Let's just say I wasn't prepared. Your girl was not prepared for what was about to happen. This lady asks me to get on one chair. There's this very high chair, okay, that has two legs like this, and then she asks me to just put my two legs there and literally spread my legs. I get on the chair and there's a very gigantic torch in front of the chair. So it's like you sit down, open your legs, and the torch is just shining into I get on the chair and then I open my legs, and then she's like, she puts on some gloves and she says, okay, so I'm gonna check your cervix, okay, this might feel a little bit uncomfortable. When she started, I'm just like, this is not a little bit uncomfortable, this is, sister, you did not explain this thing very well. You guys, she was I don't know how to explain what she was doing. It felt like she was reaching into the deepest recess of my soul. Honestly, even now that I finished giving birth, I feel like the process of examining that cervix or whatever to know if you have dilated or to know if you have effaced, or it's more traumatizing than pushing the baby out. Yes, I said it in my own case anyways. It's not a funny experience, okay. If you are pregnant, or okay, if you've had a child, you can relate definitely. But if you are pregnant or you are, just know that, just be prepared, just prepare your mind that it's not gonna feel good. She reached in and she was like, okay, that I'm not effaced, that she said apparently you're supposed to be how many cm effaced, but she said I've not even effaced at all. But she was like, it's normal with first pregnancies, okay, it's like everything is just still the way it is, nothing has happened there before, so it will take some time to efface. And since I wasn't at my actual due date, it might be the reason why it's not yet effaced. So effacement of the cervix simply means thinning out of the cervix. Let's say the cervix is this thick, okay. If it is this thick, it can't really open up, so it has to efface and become thin, very thin, so that it can easily dilate. See how I'm talking as if as if I'm one doctor. So after the examination that first day, she said I hadn't gone anywhere, nothing has happened. In other words, akwa bedi bin sa akwa. So she said I should go back to the room. The next morning that she would come for me and she would put in something, efface my cervix or to ripen my cervix. We couldn't even start the induction process yet because my cervix wasn't effaced. My cervix wasn't thin enough to dilate, okay, because induction essentially is just pushing the baby, like telling the baby, okay, it's time to go, it's time to go. But the place where the baby is going to come out from has to be ready before you push the baby to come. So she said we have to, like, it's like 2 stages, okay. We have to first of all ripen the cervix so that it can be able to dilate, so that the baby can be able to come. Meanwhile, that night when I went back to my room, they came for me again, and they took me to one room upstairs where they tested the drug, the induction drip. Okay, because they said they would test the induction drip first of all. Like, they gave me a little bit of it to know how the baby reacts to it. So they were giving me the drip and they were monitoring the baby's heartbeat to know how my baby was reacting to the drip. I think I did that one for like 2 hours or thereabouts. I actually went with my roommates in the hospital there. Okay, they came for us together, and so we went upstairs together to do that thing. So you guys, I kept texting my husband and he was like, what's happening? I didn't know what are they doing. Have they started the induction? Have they started giving birth? Because actually in Chinese hospitals, okay, there is a place where the husband cannot enter. There is a place where the men stop, okay, because the room is filled with women, like different women who are giving birth. So there is a place where your husband will stop. That's just the truth, but I'll still come to that later. We came back to the room at around 11:30 ish, after going there at around 8-9. Okay, and yeah, we came back to the room. Before we came back to the room, like when we're still upstairs, like her water actually broke. Okay, her water broke when we were up there. So when we were coming down, she couldn't even walk. They had to go and bring a wheelchair and wheel her back to our room. Okay, so I was asking her, what happened? Did your water break? She said yes, her water broke. I was like, okay. And I asked her, how far are you gone? And she said 41 weeks. So her own, the reason they are inducing her is because the baby has overstayed and it has to come out. The next day they came for me, you guys. The second time they checked, she said the scene was the same. She now put in there's one thing she put, that thing looks like a tampon. So she told me, I'm gonna put in a medicine, I'm gonna put in something into your cervix to help it ripen the cervix. And I had to go through that traumatizing session of cervical hula balloon again. And then she was putting the thing, she's putting, and I'm just wrenching, and you guys, I'm just trying to, because I've been telling myself, okay, you don't have to make a scene, you don't have to be dramatic. It's dramatic enough that you are a foreigner in the midst of Chinese. I was the only foreigner in that hospital, the whole hospital giving birth. That's already dramatic enough. So you don't have to add any further drama by, you know, screaming unnecessarily or acting weird or acting funny. Just bone it, okay? They used to say African women are strong. Don't go and forehand. My people, that is how I say, let me be respecting myself. So I was really trying to keep it in, like not to freak out and things like that. So eventually, when she was done, she told me, okay, I should go back to my room, that I would start having some contractions later as a result of that thing that she put in. And then when I started, I should tell the nurse so that they will keep monitoring me and all of that. I went back to my room. I was just there. At a point, after about 2 hours, I started feeling contractions, and they were so painful. But all these things that were happening, no show, nothing was happening. I wasn't effacing. I wasn't like after that day's own, I carried it till the evening. In the evening, that tampon like one I told you guys about, in the evening she called me back into the examination room. I think the reason I was so traumatized by the whole examination process because I had a lot of it. You guys, I spent so much time in the hospital, okay, and they were always examining, they were always checking my cervix, checking what was happening, checking. So the whole thing became like, if they tell me to come to the examination room, my mind will fly. It's like, it's like, cuckoo, kill me, let me die. So as I was saying, that evening I came back and she was like, let her check if the medicine is working or if the medicine did what it was supposed to do. And then she checked and she was like, there's a little bit of progress, but it's not yet effaced. We'll have to take it out because I was having a lot of contraction, so I was in so much pain, you guys. And then she was like, yeah, it's because of the something that she put. She now said, okay, I have to take it out, if not these contractions are gonna get worse and they're of no use because you are not yet effaced. You cannot give birth yet. We don't need these contractions. Just removal process of that thing, I don't think I'll ever forget it in my life. I climbed the table as usual. the chair, the very high chair with the lights shining. She put her hand, she started looking for the thing. This lady looked for the thing. Look, you know when you're looking for something, like, where is this thing? Where did I put it? No, but she was using one hand. She was using one hand, not to worry. But you guys, hey, she couldn't find it. I don't know where she put it though. If she's the one that put it though, but she could no longer find it. And that's how she was just entering the better experienced than explained. Let's just leave it at that. It was so painful. Like, I literally lost my home training that evening when she was trying to bring out her something. I screamed. Me that said I will not scream. Me that said that nobody will hear my voice. She kept putting her hand and putting her hand. I'm just like, okay, where did you put it that you cannot find it? At the point I screamed. My husband was outside because like he was outside the examination room. They don't let them enter. At a point, I don't know, God so kind, she found it and then she pulled it out and she was like, hala 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 jadala jadala. That's like, okay, I got it, like for me to stop shouting and all of that. And you guys, I was already crying. I was crying, okay? Tears came out of my eyes. Like, not like I was crying, but the discomfort made me cry. Like, I literally just shed tears, hot tears for that matter. And then she was like, I found it, and she held it up for me to see. And that was even when I knew it looked like a tampon, because when she was putting it in, she didn't show me. She just told me, so I'm gonna put in something now, blah 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 blah. But when she brought it out, she actually showed me, so I will stop crying and all of that, so I will know that okay, it's over. So and then she told me, how can you tell her you can go? And then I wore my trousers. If you see the way I was not doing, it's my big belly. That was how I went out. My husband was now comforting me, like, sorry, Bele, what happened? I couldn't even talk. I was just doing. Number one, I was ashamed. Not like I was ashamed, but I was like, hey, you don't forehand. But on the other hand, you guys, I was just like, nah, there was no way I could be strong for that. That was too much. That was just too much. But thankfully, that was the worst experience I had of the cervical examination. Like, no other one was that worse, was as bad as that one. Fast forward to the next morning, she called me. She told me, okay, so we're going to continue trying to efface your cervix or ripen your cervix, and I'm going to be putting in another something. And I was like, no, I don't want it. No, don't put. And she's like, no, today it's pills, it's tablets. It's not something I have to put and remove. This one is just going to melt in there and you don't have to remove it. I'm like, okay, are you sure? Okay, did that. And yeah, I went back to my room and they were just giving me cramps and contractions, but they weren't very serious. This continued for 4 days. Is it 4 or 5 days? Like 4 good days. Okay, they kept putting pills to ripen my cervix. The cervix no gree ripen. On the 4th day, see, you see, this my birth story is such a testimony. Like, it's such a testimony that God is faithful. Like, God, I don't know, God is just too faithful. Okay, I literally called upon the Lord and he heard me. For 4 good days they were trying to efface my cervix. Nothing was happening. And then the much dreaded question arose. By the way, I forgot to mention that my roommate actually gave birth the next day. The next day, we were in the room because we were on the 8th floor in the hospital. So the 9th floor is where you give birth and the 10th floor is where you recover Okay, so if you're on the 8th floor, it means things are not yet serious with you, but when they take you to the 9th floor, it means things are getting serious and you can give birth any moment. So eventually the next day they came for my roommate because her water had broken, and so they took her to the 9th floor, and so we're just there with her husband. I'm sure if you guys watched my birth vlog, you guys will see her husband in the background when I was doing my baby mama dance. Her husband was just there in the background pressing his phone. He was on the bed. That was the day she gave birth. Okay, my roommate already gave birth and went home. Me, I was still there. I was like, God, why is my case different? Why is my case different? Why am I still here? And I kept praying. Until one very wonderful evening, they came in for the usual checkup, and they're like, bed number 6, it seems your case is not progressing. We want to hereby formally suggest to you to have a C-section, because if you keep doing this, your baby might, you know, like everything you are doing is of course interfering with the baby. You yourself, you're also going through so much pain, and the doctor has already told you that you have something with your antibodies and in your blood that might be affecting the baby. So delaying having the baby is not good for you. So we want to suggest you to have a C-section because your body is just not ready to have the baby. You guys, this was what I did not want to hear. Okay, this was not like C-section is bad or people who are having C-section is bad or anything like that, but personally I did not want a C-section. Okay, I know that I mean C-section is going to save you from so many things like going through contractions and actually pushing out the baby, but I also know that for a C-section it takes more time to heal and all of that, and you need a lot of help, you know, to heal and all of that. And I am in the abroad. Okay, it's just me and my husband. Who is going to take care of me if I need to be taken care of immediately after giving birth in a special way, you know, not like someone who gives birth vaginally doesn't need to be taken care of. You guys get what I mean. So I did not want to have a C-section, plus the costs, expenditure and all of that. Okay, C-section was not just my plan. So I told her, okay, I'll think about it and I'll let you guys know tomorrow. So she said okay, and then this was the one, like the main doctor, because when the smaller doctors had been checking me for the past how many days and nothing was working, so they had to call the more experienced doctor to check me and all of that. So the more experienced doctor was one that was now giving me her professional opinion that I think you should go for a C-section. I was like, okay, I'll give you a reply tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, that night that night I told God, oh sit yeah, oh look no mume. Because all through my pregnancy I've been praying. Actually, it's been a prayer point for my husband and I. We've been praying to God for a smooth birth, that we won't have to have a C-section and all of that. It's been a major prayer point that we've been making. Okay, so when they said that, I just knew that God, no, you don't ready to do something. And then I actually just decided to put into practice something that I've learned, something I picked up along the line in my Christian journey, about praise and like the power of praise, and you know how praise gets the attention of God really fast. And if you want to get super fast answers to your prayer or to your request, instead of just praying, okay, just praise God. When you pray, you know, it's like angels, they carry your prayers and they go to God. And you know, since a lot of people are praying at the same time, yeah, your prayers is gonna queue up. Okay, so your answers might delay, but when you praise, oh, it's like you're calling God, like, hey, see me, I'm giving you what you like. Okay, it's like you get all the attention. So praise delivers answers very, very fast. And yeah, that was what I decided to do. So with my big belly, with my pains, with my cramps, I began to praise God. I went to YouTube and I searched Niger praise medley, and of course I found enough. So literally started singing and dancing and praising. I praised for 1 hour. I think 1 hour. Like, I was so tired, but I was just dancing. I was dancing for my God. You guys. And so people were passing, our door was open, and people would pass by and they would look in and they'll be like, this white Warren, oh poor police do a shake see. But I did not care, I did not mind. I was just dancing, I was just praising and all of that. And my husband was just there doing his own. And after that night, I was like, God, I don't know how you're gonna do it. Okay, I know that for the past 4 or 5 days, these people have been giving me a negative result when I go into the examination room. But by reason of this praise that I have given you tonight, when I walk into that examination room tomorrow, my cervix has to be effaced, my cervix has to be ripe, my cervix has to be ready. Now this is why it is a miracle. They've been putting drugs since, okay, but they did not put drug that day. They just said your cervix have collect plenty drugs, so let it rest. We're not going to put any drug today. Okay, so it's not like they put another drug that you say work. So before, like in that day, like after they told me about the whole C-section and all of that, I also went online and I began to read about, you know, cervical examinations and how it's done. So I actually got some tips from this nurse Zabe on YouTube, okay, talking about like there's actually a way you position yourself during cervical examinations to make it less discomforting and, you know, to get a better experience out of it. So I noted those ones down. Like I was doing serious research on YouTube in the hospital, as if it's now I knew I'm going to give birth. Okay, I'm sure I'm not the only one who does that. So next morning, you guys, when I went to the examination room, I was so confident, you guys, that that my body was ready. I was so confident in what God had done. And then I got on the examination table, and that morning, okay, the doctor, she brought another professional doctor that is even more professional than her. Like she brought like the highest ranking doctor, okay, in the midwifery whatever of the whole of Gulo hospital. So when the woman came in, she told me this is our most qualified doctor, so her word is bond. Like she has the final say, or she has the final verdict. Okay, like if she checks you now and you are still not ready, then we have to go for C-section. This other lady, she was actually nice. Like you know people who are professionals, like they don't even stress too much. Okay, she just put on her gloves, like with her nice hair. She was not even wearing white and white, she was wearing a nice suit with a nice cocoa shoe, okay, with her hair that she even painted red, a busy dyed red. She was just looking so cute and fancy. So she put on her gloves, okay, and she checked very gently. Or maybe it's because I positioned myself better, I don't just know, but that examination was the best I had. That one that the most professional doctor did, okay. So from what I learned from Nurse Zabe, when you have those cervical examinations, try to take your butt up. Like don't allow your butt to be laying flat on the surface where you are lying. If you can, for example, if you can place your hand like this under your butt to sort of lift your butt off the floor, or like off the flat surface, if you guys get what I mean. Just hold it up like this, so that when they go, it's like the thing is not like this, it goes straight. But if your butt is flat on the surface, it's like the thing will go like this. I don't know if you guys get what I mean, but you can look her up. I'll see if I can try to link her channel name in my description or somewhere on this video, so you guys, for some of you who are pregnant and really need the information, you guys can check her out. Okay, I feel like she has so much information and she doesn't even have enough subscribers or enough attention to the kind of information she's giving out. Okay, so yeah, that was there, and I did that, and she checked very easily. I didn't even check up to 20 seconds, and then she was like, she's effaced, her cervix is ripe, she's ready to have her waters broken. I was like, say it again. And then the other doctor was like, are you sure? I just checked her yesterday evening and she wasn't ripe. And that doctor said something, she said a word that I will never forget in my life. Okay, you guys, in the twinkling of an eye, God turned the situation around. That nurse said in Chinese, 绝对可以. Like 绝对可以 means absolutely can. So it's not even as if she's saying we can try. She's a bit of, it's like, she said, it's like, yes, she's very. Do you get it? Do you guys get it? If you don't get it, forget about it. I wasn't gonna blame the other doctor or say she doesn't know what she's doing, because it was looking like she didn't know what she was doing. Like, how can you say that this person is not ready to, you know, to give birth when something is ready? And I'm like, you guys should just pity her, okay? It was an overnight something, okay? When she checked, I wasn't ready. But overnight, when the Lord turned again the captivity of finish it, you know the scriptures. That was how they now took me to the 9th floor, and they said they were gonna get my waters broken. You guys, the way I was happy that day, I've never been, okay, have I ever been that happy in my life? Maybe I have, but that joy, the joy that day, when I came out of the examination room, I told my husband, he has done it again, he has done it again. You see, I was beaming, I was dancing, I was like, hey, my God does not fail. I went to, let me talk quickly, you guys. This video is too long. I went upstairs, and it was around 11 a.m. you guys. They broke my water. The breaking water process was also not very funny, okay, because up to like 2 people had to try. The thing actually is that, you know, with us foreigners, we get a little bit of attention, not even a little bit, we get a lot of attention in the hospital, okay, because sometimes like they don't really know what to expect with us, so it's more like a testing situation. So it needs someone who is like very experienced, okay, to just come and know what to do. So when I wanted to break my water, the first lady that was trying was like, she cannot reach the water, she cannot reach this, she cannot reach that. And then the other lady came in, and then she just, you guys, oh, when I was still rejoicing, okay, about my cervix being ready and effaced and all of that, when they now wanted to break the water, see the gigantic scissors, I was like, where is that scissors entering? See, if I'm gonna give you an advice, if they are doing these things to you in the hospital, just don't look at what they are doing, okay? Don't look at their whatever instrument they are picking up. It's gonna give you a panic attack, like, and you will start running away or shaking in a way you're not supposed to, and it might affect the overall thing they are doing. Just don't look at whatever they are doing. Just take away your eyes. So she brought these gigantic scissors, and I remember just seeing the scissors, and I was like, oh, I became really scared. But I was just praying. I was like, dear Lord, give me your courage. Give me your courage to bear this thing. You guys, childbirth is not a joke. There's so many aspects of giving birth that people don't even talk about. Like, for people who actually get induced, it's even more difficult than, you know, when the labor just happens on its own, like naturally and all of that. So much goes on during childbirth. We really just need to talk more about this thing, honestly. Anyways, they eventually broke my waters, and then they moved me to the ward, to the waiting area. So now this is how the Chinese birthing system or the hospital birthing area works. My husband was on the 8th floor, okay? No relative passes the 8th floor. Like, the person that comes with you to the hospital, they don't pass the 8th floor. The 9th floor is strictly for pregnant women. So the implication is that all through the time you are laboring, you are on your own. You don't get to see your husband, you don't get to see anybody that you know or that came with you. We are in a ward, we are in a room like that, and the room has like, there are different rooms in the hall, and each room has like beds, up to like 10 beds, and each bed is covered with a curtain. So you are literally just there, you are lying on the bed, you are laboring and you are contracting and all of that. Then when like your contract, like when your baby is coming, literally they quickly move you into the delivery room. Now that delivery room is where you are going to be alone. You push your baby out, and yeah. See, you guys, this video is going to be long, just forgive me. There's no short way to tell the story, okay? When I was in that place, after they broke my water around 11 a.m, okay, they started giving me the drip, the induction drip. I don't know if it was pitocin, I don't just know what product it was that they were giving me, but yeah, they started administering the drip to me, and it's begun. It officially began. Contractions started kicking in. They just grew, okay, with time. They became more severe. They became like they became worse. Okay, in the afternoon, hey, I do not even know myself again. Like when the contraction will come, like you just see it read on the contraction machine to go high, and then when the contraction is going away, it will start coming down again. But they were very intense, which is of course the case, you know, with induction, because it's like everything is happening at the same time. Okay, I was getting a lot of cramps. The evening, at around 5, it was time for dinner, because in the hospital they'll give you breakfast, lunch and dinner. Okay, we ate hospital food too. We were tired, and you know China, everything is rice. The point, if our family friend even had to like cook and send us food, like send us fufu and soup, and it was not fufu but swallow and soup. It was such a relief, you guys. I was so grateful for it. See, just pray that nothing makes you stay in hospital for long, because you will get tired, you will get frustrated, you will get hospital is not a good place to stay. My heart goes out to anybody who has to stay in the hospital for long periods of time due to an ailment or just due to one thing or the other. Okay, it's not a pleasant experience, take it from me, and thank God for every day you spend out of the hospital. The evening, when it was dinner time, they brought me their normal dinner, and yeah, some other, my husband also gave them like food for me, some chips and things like that. And I was not food, I was not even in the mood to eat. I told them, well, bush, and she like, I don't want to eat because I was in so much pain. And she told me you have to eat, you need your energy. Okay, because after I started contracting, they started checking me to know if I was dilating or if I had dilated. But when she checked me, she said I was just like 2 cm more. And I was just like, hey, that means this one is not planning to come out this week. But she said, don't worry, as your contractions get worse, yeah, your cervix will become more dilated. I wasn't even able to eat the food. Like I was just forcing myself, because they said I needed to eat it so I'll have energy to actually push the baby and give birth and all of that. So I just ate very little, and then I told them to take it away. I didn't want to eat, and then they cleared it, and I was just there. I was on my bed, I was in pain. If the contractions relieve and I just carry my phone, let me distract myself, before I can even unlock it, the contractions are back. I was just wriggling on the bed, you guys. I was in so much pain, and this thing continued, you guys. I was contracting from around that 11 that they broke my water and started giving me the induction drip till night. Around 9 p.m. I was not myself again. I was not myself. If you see, by that time they have also moved me from one other bed to another bed, but still in that same room, like with other women who were contracting. If you see the kind of film that we were acting in that place, there's no big girl there. The women were literally going crazy. There was one Chinese neighbor of mine. She was just shouting. She was shouting, I'm dying, oh, it's too painful, oh. Like she was, but in Chinese, of course. And then one of the nurses was like, but according to your file, this is not your first baby, this is your second baby. She was like, and so does it make it any less painful? And even though I was in my own pain, it was so funny to me, because I think for the nurses, they will expect that for someone who has given birth before, you will not have to put up such drama. The woman was like, and so does it make it any less painful? And then the nurse just quiet about. The woman was just screaming, but I think it was because she was really close. And then they will always come and check her, like check, and then you even see on the bed there's blood, there's water, there's a lot of things are just coming out. The point, they just came and wheeled her out, and then she gave birth. Okay, so what they do is that they will leave you in that contracting, I call it contracting room, or the labor room. Okay, because the labor room is different from the delivery room. The labor room, you are there with some other women, all of you are going through labor at the same time. Then when your baby is coming out, they will now take you to the delivery room, which is what they did for me as well. They kept checking me, like they told me that when you feel like you want to poo, then call on us, like call our attention if you feel like you want to poo. don't go to the toilet though. If you feel like you want to poo, they kept they kept hammering it that if you feel like you want to poo, it's not poo, it's your baby, don't go to the toilet. I said okay. I remember around, was it around 12, like 12 midnight, I was just like, hey, how I wanted to die. Before this time I had been saying I don't want epidural. I have a natural birth. I wanted to feel everything. I didn't want to also pay any extra money for any epidural. Okay, people have been giving birth in my family without epidural. In fact, we don't even know what is epidural. No, like, I'm not saying epidural is bad. Okay? Again, I was scared because apparently the needle for epidural is one very big, gigantic needle that they chook in the center of your back, and if they make a mistake, you can be paralyzed for life. I read up a lot about it, and I was like, okay, I don't want it. Ladies and gentlemen, in the midst of my pain, I said, where's my epidural? Give me epidural. I called the nurse. I said, and do you know why, you guys? Why I asked for that epidural was because those nurses, they were not giving me hope. They would come and check me. When they came and checked me around 12 midnight, they said I was 5 cm dilated. 5 cm. Me that I've been contracting for the past how many hours. I said 5 cm. That means we'll have another 5 to go. That means this baby is not even coming today. I said, give me a epidural or I will die. Like, if at this rate that I'm feeling this pain, I'm 5 cm dilated, then I will die before I reach 10. That was what my mind was telling me. So I told him, give me a epidural, or I want a epidural. Then I said, okay. The next thing, then I went. Then I came back and said, have you done blood work in the past 1 week? I'll be what? I'm just like, just check my file. If you check my file, anything you see there, you know that is what I've done. Don't ask me any question. She now went and checked my file. She now said, sorry, we did not see any result of any blood work done in the past 1 week, so we can't give you epidural. I said, what's the connection of blood work, a blood result, and epidural? She said, sorry, don't worry, the pain will make. Hey, you guys, now I started crying. And I was crying. I was not crying like cry. I was just crying like I was sobbing. I was just like, God, please let this pain pass. Let this thing die. Let this thing come to an end. Like, next thing, around 1 something, like around 2 actually, 2. I had started feeling the push. Like I started feeling like I wanted to poo. And I'm like, how can I feel like I want to poo when these people said I'm 5 cm dilated? She still came and checked me again and told me that I'm not yet fully dilated. Around 2 a.m. This thing will come and do me, and it's like, and she told me that if it's doing like that, I should hold it back inside, because, and now I understood that if you don't actually hold it and the baby comes with that force, tear your, and it's gonna be disastrous. So she said, if it's coming, try to hold it back, like as if you're holding in poo. So I started struggling to hold it back. At a point, it was just so strong. I literally just shouted, "Waya da biela!" That means I'm going to poop. Like, I'm going to poop. I have to poop, because it was just so strong. And so they came rushing to my bed. When they broke my water, they now just wore me this gown. It's just a gown, okay? I wasn't wearing anything on the inside. So, and that's the same for every other woman there. You're just wearing your gown and your legs are up, and for them to come and check you very easily, like to check your progress. So they literally just came and peeped, and then they were like, okay, let's go. And I'm like, let's go where? You guys, my baby was coming. Like, my baby was coming. And these people had just told me I was 5 cm dilated. I'm just like, I was so shocked at the way everything was so quick. Okay, so they just brought a wheelchair and quickly wheeled me in. They were like, be careful. They wheeled me to the delivery room. Like, everything was just happening so fast. I'm like, are we there? Is this happening? Is it time? Am I gonna meet my baby soon? Like, is this actually happening? So I was super shocked, happy, excited that, okay, everything's finally coming to an end, and okay, this is actually happening. So they quickly wheeled me to the delivery room, and then they took me up on top of the table, on top of the delivery. You guys, it's not a bed, okay, where you deliver. It's just like that examining chair kind of situation. It's not a chair, it's like an elongated chair, but it's not a bed as well, because it's just high up there, and the light, and it's just very good for spreading legs. Let me just put it that way, because when you keep your leg here, everything's quite open. And then they asked me, do you want to have your husband, do you want us to go and call your husband? I was like, are you asking me that question? Please call the young man, call him, so he will come and see what he caused. What is. So they were like, okay, they're gonna go and call him. And so the nurse was now preparing. She was wearing her gloves. She was telling me, my name is this, so I'm gonna deliver the baby, blah blah blah. I was not even hearing anything she was saying. My own is, can we start? And then she wanted to start. I was like, well, then I'll go now. Where's my husband? I don't want to give birth without him here. I want him to hear. They now opened one door. You guys, they have two doors where you come in from, and there's another sideway door where the where your guardian comes in from, because so he doesn't pass through, like, he cannot pass through where other women are. Okay, there's another door together. They just bring him in from. So they just brought him from. He literally just appeared out of nowhere wearing his blue overall and blue cap. I'm like, they even dressed you up. And then they were like, okay, let's go. When you feel a contraction, you give me a push. Can you guys believe that I did not push for more than 15 minutes? Okay, like, my pushing session was very quick, and my baby came out. Like, she was like, okay, when you feel a contraction, give me a big push. The first time I felt it, I pushed. She was like, okay, you're doing good, when you feel another one, give me another one. And then I gave another one, and I was like, and like, I became tired, and I stopped, and she was like, oh, don't stop. I'm like, no, I'm tired, I have to rest. And then she was like, okay. And then, you guys, because I had been contracting for such a long time, and I was in so much pain, they had to eventually give me oxygen, because apparently I was struggling with breathing. I had seen so many breathing exercises videos, and I was practicing the, like, taking in deep breaths and, you know, breathing it out slowly, and I was doing that a lot, but they just felt like they had to support me with oxygen. I'm even going to put a clip of that so you guys see where the oxygen was in my nose. So the oxygen was helping me breathe better. When I want to push, I would scream like, ah. She was like, don't scream, like, don't make a sound, just push. And I'm just like, how am I supposed to do that? How in God's earth am I supposed to be pushing and be going through pain without screaming? So she was like, don't scream. Like, if I scream, she's like, don't scream, breathe and push. Like, it's so serious. There was a doctor and another nurse. Okay, the nurse was standing beside me, and she was telling me what to do. Then the doctor was, you know, managing the situation we had in front. And then, honestly, I didn't even, okay, I knew when I felt the ring of fire, like the crowning, which is like when the baby's head is showing and all of that. And they're like, and the doctor was like, I can see the head. And she was like, okay, give me a big push. And then I gave a big push. And then she was like, yeah, keep going. And the baby's head came out. And then she was like, okay, good job, so we're going to do it again, and, you know, let the baby come out and all of that. And then I gave another big push. And then the next thing I felt was bloom. You literally feel the baby bloom out of you. And then I saw the doctor doing this, and I knew she was trying to catch my baby, and I'm like, oh, she's here. And then the nurse or doctor person that was beside me was like, good job, like, you did well and all of that. And then she carried the baby away, and I think they began to, you know, take out all the things in the nose and all of that. I was just interested in hearing her cry. Okay, no, when she brought her out of me, okay, she just, like, she took her over my face, like, she took her up, and she was like, can you see your baby? What's the sex? Like, is it a boy or a girl? And I'm like, yes, I can see her, it's a girl. And she was like, okay, I think they ask you that to make sure that you are still conscious or something like that, because I did not see any reason for her asking me that kind of question. But I think it's like to know if you are conscious enough to identify your baby's sex. And so she took her away, and then when she took her away, I was just looking, I was like, okay, where's the cry? She wasn't crying immediately. And I think when they started doing the whatever, the baby was like, I was like, oh God, I did it, you did it, we did it. By the way, my husband was beside me the whole time, kabashing. Instead of this young man to be telling me something serious, he was just telling me sorry. the nurse was even asking me, why does your husband keep saying sorry, sorry, sorry? And I'm just like, what they get you want him to say? You guys, my husband was busy kabashing. If he kabash, he will say sorry, sorry, sorry. That was what he was doing, though. When the baby now came, you guys, I was so happy. I was overjoyed. I was so elated. But that was how it happened. And then they took the baby away, and then the doctor came to me and she told me, okay, so you have a natural tear. Okay, I was asking her if I got an episiotomy, like if they cut me and just like, they told me no, they didn't, but I got a natural tear that happened on its own, about 1 cm. She said it's very small, so that she's going to quickly stitch it up. So she quickly did that, and after stitching it up, they put me on there's a kind of bed that moves, okay, but they had already brought the baby to me, okay. When they finished removing the thing on our nose, I think they brought the baby to me, and I was like, my baby. That I didn't know what I was feeling. I was feeling emotional now. I felt like crying. I was so grateful. I was so happy. Like all the pains just vanished. Like all the pains just disappeared. And I remember just thinking, oh my god, why does she look so much like me? Not like it's a bad thing. I was just like, oh my god, she's my photocopy. And she was my photocopy. Forget that now her face is changing and she's starting to look like her dad, but she was like it was like I was seeing a mini version of me. I was like, hey, look at me. But anyways, that was what happened. They put us in a bed, and then they whisked us away, and I had my baby beside me, like in the moving bed, and then they just took us out, and then we took us to the 10th floor, which is the recovery room. And you guys, I was just so happy. My husband started calling people at home that okay, she has given birth, the baby is here, and all of that and all that. We were just so happy. It was just so perfect. This was how I had my baby. This was my delivery story. Thank you so much if you watched up to this point. You know I already love you. Thank you so much. And if you watched up to this point and it's your first time on the channel, please don't forget to subscribe before you go, okay? I'm gonna be uploading like my first 24 hours with my newborn next, okay? Hopefully you guys stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you in my next video. Bye guys. Mwah.